If you're a DJ, this one's got to do with you. You better take a listen because things are changing coming March 2024. Now, if you see this stuff, I'm into race simulators, flight simulators. I like to go fast when I'm not getting yelled at by guests. So feel free to head over to my other channel and hit me on Simulator Sandbox. It's what I do in my free time. It's my other channel. It's blowing up and I have a blast over there. But right now, we're going to be talking DJ stuff and specifically the gig economy because the Biden administration just passed a new law that's going to take place in March of 2024, this year, in like 2 months. So this is not a political post, not by any means, whether you're on the right or the left side of the aisle or you're sitting dead middle in it, it's going to affect you. We're all in the plane and we might be heading towards a mountain of gig economy crash. So let's just take a look at what's going on. In March, if you are an independent contractor that relies solely on a company to provide you with the bulk of your income, you're no longer going to be classified as an independent contractor. The reason people are getting political with this is because under the Trump era, there was a law that was passed that made it easier for companies to recognize employees as independent contractors. Now the Biden administration just finalized a new law that's coming out in March that will make it harder for companies to recognize employees as independent contractors. Now some of you out there might be saying, yeah, it's actually supposed to help us because it will give us employee safeguards, right? If you're an employee of a company, you can't work overtime without getting paid time and a half, right? If you're an employee of a company, you're entitled to minimum wage, things like that, that independent contractors don't really have they're not privy to. So what does that mean for you as a DJ? You might be like, well, sweet, now I get time and a half. No, probably not, because if you take a look at what's happening in a lot of the states that are forced to increase their minimum wage, they're just laying off a lot of people. Guys, money doesn't grow on trees. You know this. If I told you that your costs are going to increase by 15 to 20%, it's not like you're going to be like, awesome, I get to pay people more. You're going to be like, all right, well, where do I cut down then? Because I don't have a random 15 to 20% to offset that, right? So this is what's going to happen. You see a lot of these companies that hire a bunch of DJs underneath them to then send them out and do work that they provide for them, and then they'll take a percentage of your pay. Well, they're not going to hire a bunch of DJs anymore. In fact, they're probably going to get rid of them. If you work for one of those companies, you might want to have a conversation with your employer and be like, hey, how are we going to tackle this come March? Because how does this affect you as a DJ? Well, think about it. As a self-employed independent contractor, I am responsible for 15.3% of my income to be paid towards self-employment tax, as I am the employer. And also, I have to pay 15.3% towards employment tax as the employee. We as self-employed independent contractors pay 15.3% on our own as the employee and as the employer. That's 30.6% that we have to pay as independent contractors on our taxes. Regular workers, employees, W-2 employees, they only pay as the employee. They pay that 15.3%, but then their employer pays the other 15.3%. So they don't have to pay all the 30.6 like I do as a self-employed independent contractor. So if you're a DJ company, you're used to contracting the work out, having the independent contractors be responsible for their own taxes, right? Well, now, every single employee that you have, you're going to have to pay an additional 15.3% on as the employer. Dude, no one's going to want to do that. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, no thanks. Not going to do that. It doesn't make sense anymore. The math doesn't math, right? That's like what you say. So if you're looking at being hired by one of those companies that hires multiple DJs, that's something to ask them right off the bat. And if you already work for somebody like that, you might want to have a conversation because in March, they're going to have to cover the 15.3% that you've been paying for yourself. Now, hey, if they're up for that, then great. You might find yourself in a position where they're going to say, you know what? Great. Thank you, Joe Biden. You deserve more money and I should have to pay it to you. I love that. That sounds great to me. You've been working really hard. But let's be honest. Do you really think that's what most employers are going to do? Doesn't sound like it to me. I know I probably wouldn't be able to do that. I'd love to be able to do that. But this is one of the reasons that I don't hire a bunch of DJs below me. Everyone's like, dude, you've been doing this for 8 years. You're killing it. Why don't you start expanding by hiring people below you? Can't afford it. I can't afford to be paying them the 15.3% now on top of the extra headache of all the things that they're going to mess up and I got to go fix and put out their fires. It's just not worth it anymore as a quality DJ to hire DJs underneath you, now paying an extra 15.3% on top of that. And we didn't even get to overtime, because if you work more than 40 hours in that week, guess what? Time and a half, baby. Now they have to pay you time and a half of your rate. So how's that going to work? They're going to cap you. No employer on the planet in the DJ world is going to be able to pay you time and a half of your rate once you go over 40 hours. And I think we all know that if you work 2, 3, 4 weddings in a week, you're definitely going over 40 hours. One wedding is at least 10 hours. So this is another thing that the employer is going to have to pick up the tab, and unless they're just swimming in cash, which nobody is right now, I don't think they're going to be able to do it, guys. So just take a look at this stuff and see how this affects you. Who does it affect? Employees who rely on one company or multiple companies for the bulk of their income. Those companies have to treat them as an employee now. So for me, who works for myself, 100% self-employed, and I book all of my own gigs and I only work for myself, I have nobody underneath me, this isn't going to affect me. But how it might affect me or you in this position is we might be expecting an influx of clients who have gotten canceled on. What do I mean? Well, think about it. If you hired a DJ, let's say back in like October last year of 2023, and you hired them for your October 2024 wedding, but in March of 2024, a new law comes out that says, hey, we're going to make it harder for DJs to employ other DJs. And you hired one of these second-level other DJs through this company. Well, now what are you going to do if it's March 2024, your wedding is in October, and this employee got fired by the company because the company can't handle taking them on anymore because of these new laws? Well, now what? Like, do you have a DJ still? This DJ might just get out of DJing all alone, all together. They might not. That's probably why they're with a DJ company. They don't want all the headache of booking clients and managing timelines and going through all the questions that come along with, planning a wedding. That's what I do. That's why, DJs like me, we make the big bucks because we're here with you the entire year leading up to your wedding. But this guy who just got fired and who's like, even if he still is going to be that person's DJ, he's got no training on how to handle a client moving forward. So they might even fire him come like August when they realize, like, dude, this guy's got no idea what he's doing. He's used to relying on somebody else to give him all the answers. Well, I can't trust this guy for my wedding. Or maybe he just quits altogether. Do you see what I'm saying? That October couple might very well lose out on a DJ come March, April, May, when they start realizing things are changing in the landscape of how these DJs are employed. So keep yourself ready. Start marketing towards that, right? I am definitely going to start marketing towards that, letting people know, hey, listen, you can hire a DJ from a DJ company, but just know that come March, they might not even be there anymore. You might not even know where to find the DJ that you hired because they've been fired from that company and that company doesn't want to put you in touch with them anymore. No, don't worry about it. Just hire me now, my solo self, because I don't hire DJs underneath me anymore. I got out of that business. Don't worry about that. Just go with me. Or they might just switch you off to that person without even telling you, right? So this is just a whole lot of mess, and I think it's a real selling point for DJs that are on their own because we can kind of sell the fact that if you go with me, you don't have to worry about any of this. It's me. I have a backup DJ in case of emergency if I'm in a ditch somewhere because I got struck by lightning. That's what it's going to take for me to miss your wedding. That's what I say all the time because people are like, all right, it's good to know that he's got a backup plan, but like he's not going to need to use it. That's how you go about it. Let them know that you've got a backup plan in place, but I ain't canceling on you. You're not going to have to worry about finding me. You're not going to have to worry about me getting fired because it's just me, right? No one's going to fire me. I don't have to do with this new gig economy tax. Oh boy, it's a big mess. So good luck. I hope this helps you frame how you're going to move forward with this. Are you going to leave the DJ company that you're currently a part of? Maybe go out on your own now? Makes a little more sense to do that. Are you going to have a conversation with your DJ company and make sure that they're okay? Because hey, if they're okay with housing you under these new laws, then great. You're gonna make more money and you don't have to do nearly as much work as if you were to do this by yourself like I do. but most DJ companies aren't gonna be able to handle that. So good luck. I hope this helps you. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and like the hell out of this comment so we can get this information out to as many DJs as possible. We all have to look out for ourselves on this one. And like I said, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we're all on the same plane. So let's make sure that we land the plane safely and get to our gigs with the money in our pocket and happy clients who are proud and glad to pay that money and not pissed off and upset before they even get to their wedding because of a big mess like this. Good luck. I'll see you out on the dance floor. Times are changing.